Hello there, Ruben Acevedo, the IEEE UTSA student branch here. Today's project is going to involve taking our office computer and upgrading it. That can be subjective, but I'm going to consider upgrading it. So, if you pop this panel off, you'll see within it a basic motherboard, no discrete GPU. It's an A10 APU where the graphics are integrated with the CPU, and so this one measly little fan has to cool that off when it does anything intensive. So what we're instead going to do is take a full-grade R9 270 graphics card from AMD and smash it where it shouldn't belong, as well as upgrading this measly PSU to a EVGA 500 watt PSU. Yeah, so if you're gonna have a stroke of insanity such as that, you're gonna first want to unplug from the power so that you don't electrocute yourself. And then in addition to that, this is your PCIe Express slot. That's where your graphics card is gonna go. But if you'll look at this behemoth, it doesn't fit because of this metal deal here. Luckily in this specific case, it pops right out. So you can disconnect our hard drive and yank it from its prison. Ta-dee-ta-da. Now we've got clearance. Meaning that, oh yeah, I'm gonna need a screwdriver. How you guys doing, by the way? Heyo. Michelle, how you doing? That's good. There's a screw there, and a screw here. These little PCIe slots. We need them out of the way so a graphics card can reside here. So, a lot of unconventional. Oh, yeah. That's the key. Yes, it is. The whole reason of taking out the screws, and then I didn't take out the plates. So, ta-da!
Ruben, we have an issue here. Well, it won't close the actual case now, will it?
No, it won't. I'm glad you bring up that case, Vishal. It will not close properly anymore. So now we get to see it in all of its dangerous, exposed, ugly glory, and it's going to be magnificent. Look at that. So, if you look closer to these brackets, these are full-size brackets from a whatchamacallit, a mid-tower case. This is a slimline case, and so where it should meet is right down there. It does not. So, a jerry-rigged solution of that is finding a sturdy, secure portion of your graphics card and affixing some sort of support to it so it doesn't sag once this is picked up and gravity takes its effect. You don't want to put it anywhere near the fans, of course. In fact, you probably just don't want to do this at all, but I'm going to give it a shot and let's see how it works. In which we're going to be using some bread ties and paper clips.
What happened to the bread?
Oh, it was delicious.
Oh. Thanks for sharing.
I went and got some butter specifically for it.
I'm hoping the mic came in by now, so I can just give them the freaking mic.
I need one more. And again, you won't find any instructions for something like this on a PDF online or anything. Just from crazy weirdos who like to modify existing plans.
Agreed.
So you take the risk of shocking yourself at every point, as well as breaking your existing material, voiding all your warranties, but where's the fun in following the rules? Ta-da! Okay. So that'll hold that in place. Now, when we lift the case, we no longer have to experience sag. As far as your power supply, a lot of people will mention that you of course want it in the case, because that's where it's most protected. But since this full-size power supply won't fit in a slimline case like this, we're going to toss it on top. Where is the double-sided tape?
Keep that shit to the case.
You sure you don't block the fan?
Yes. And one key point is that it does have a fan, and usually when you place it in a case, it'll have it upside down like this with some standoffs so that it can suck in clean air without building dust on all the components on the inside, the inductors and transformers and all. We're going to place it upright, and so we'll then have to find a filter for it so that all sorts of crud doesn't make its way into the power supply. Okay, and then we have our connections here and here. Okay.
It looks like your hair, Ruben. For your
Oh,
cut.
my dreadlocks from back in the day. I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so with the screwdriver, do we have this attached yet?
Oh, do you want to take that out?
Oh no, it'll work like this.
Okay.
Let's pick up a heat sink, even though an SSD does not need a heat sink.
Hard drive, which we're gonna put. So any spontaneous, unplanned process should definitely have a little bit of duct tape somewhere, and we're gonna abide by that. Use my dainty nails to start up this strip. Roll it back on itself. Okay. Splat it on. And then connect our primary SATA port, which is this orange one, to our boot drive. So the components that were originally used are pretty much being repurposed in a new, non-fashionable manner. There we go. Yeah. Should be fine for me. Where is the SSD? Which we can then place there. Same deal, it takes a power and a SATA. And then the only two that actually connect to the motherboard are our CPU power lines, as well as the 24-pin motherboard connector. Oh. Would help if it weren't backwards. There. And for my next trick, we will get in the CPU power. There we are. And then all your extra dealios can be held back with whatever else you have on hand.
It's right here.
Where?
Your video card power.
Oh, that's totally important. We've got those hiding in the back. The whole purpose of the upgraded power supply was to be able to run the graphics card. So, whatever model graphics card you have will have a different amount of ports right here to power it. Some of the lower end ones have only a single port with the 6-pin Molex connector. This one has a pair of the 6, and then something along the lines of like a GTX 780 will have a pair of 8, depending on the manufacturer it comes from, either EVGA or this one is a Gigabyte. So on your power supply, it'll give you the option to plug in to 8, possibly. And if it instead takes 6, those last portions can just branch off and you only have to utilize what it calls for. So let's plug those in. And now the graphics powerhouse can get its juice. Bundle together our excess. And should be in business. Actually, we now need the video to go to a DVI port, of which I should have an adapter in my Santa bag of miscellaneous electronics. There's Saitama with some Miku, some more Miku, a sock, some polo, aha! An adapter. So the monitor itself only has a VGA port. It doesn't have a DVI connection, which is the only thing available on these graphics cards, as well as an HDMI and a display port. So we can then convert that DVI port to an analog VGA signal with this adapter, and it'll look just fine and still be able to compute everything that the GPU is going to help us render. There we are. And voila. Okay. So let's get electrocuted and record it for the world to see. Okay. Ta-da! Ta-da!
Another failed engineering by Ruben Acevedo.
Well, it's failed attempt and life lesson
Okay.
slash life lesson.
You're
Don't tell me
pulling
you
a
did.
lot of power. What was that,
Oh, don't
Patrick?
Oh.
Oh man.
Never mind. It was done on purpose by Patrick Stockton, Senior Advisor of the IEEE. Thank you.
I was waiting right here this entire time.
I started sweating. I was like, I did it again. It wouldn't have been the first time I burnt out this outlet.
You didn't know that?
So, what? The lights?
That it was him?
I really thought it was the power supply sucking up too much power.
Literally hanging here for the last 6 minutes. I could be something useful. I was waiting to do that.
I had to crank up the fan because now I'm sweating profusely from thinking that I screwed up everything in the parts bin. Oh, so we're getting a video signal. That coming from the graphics card rather than the onboard video that's on the motherboard. So now all that's left to do is, since this is the, when it comes to graphics cards, you got two main companies in the running. There's NVIDIA, which are pretty top dog, and then we have AMD that has a great amount of performance to the lower price cuts they usually have available. So we can then grab the drivers for the specific graphics card by going to AMD's website and just navigating through to find the correct model. This one specifically being the R9 270. There we are. So great success. We now have an upgraded, more powerful PC in our office at the expense of having our Frankenstein system, but it's now a conversation starter. When people walk in, they'll be like, what the heck is that thing? And we'll show them this video link. Thank you for joining us.